Okay, so for this video, we'll be using the Inquire feature of Excel. Introduction. You can use Inquire to compare two workbooks, analyze a workbook for problems or inconsistencies, view the links between workbooks, view the links between worksheets, view the relationships between cells, clean excess cell formatting, and manage passwords. The Inquire tab will be on the ribbon. If you find the Inquire tab on the ribbon, you can skip to the next section. But if not, so do the following. So if you do not find the Inquire tab on the ribbon, make the Inquire add-in active. So click on File and then Options. So File and then Options. In the Excel Options window, so this is the Excel Options window, click on Add-ins. In the Manage box, so we have here the Manage box, click on Com Add-ins. So this is Com Add-ins. Then click Go. Again, so this is what we're going to do. Click on File and then Options. This dialog box will appear. Click on Add-ins. And on the Manage, click on the drop-down list, select Com Add-ins, and then you click Go. Com Add-ins dialog box appears, and then we check on Inquire. Check the Inquire box. Click OK. Now the Inquire add-in is active. You will find the Inquire tab on the ribbon. Inquire commands. Click the Inquire tab. So this is the Inquire tab, and you will find the following commands. We have the Workbook Analysis, Workbook Relationship, Worksheet Relationship, Cell Relationships, Compare Files, Clean Excess Formatting, and Workbook Passwords. Comparing two workbooks. You can compare two workbooks cell by cell and find the differences, if any, in terms of changes in the second workbook as compared to the first. Follow the below given steps. Open two workbooks that you want to compare. Click on Inquire tab on the ribbon. Click on Compare Files. So, Inquire. Then we click on Compare Files in the Compare group. The Select Files to Compare dialog box, so this will appear. Box appears, so check the file names displayed in the boxes next to Compare and To. So we have Compare and To. So we check these file names. If any file name that is displayed is not the one you wanted, click the drop-down arrow next to the file name. So we can click on the drop-down arrow. Only the workbooks that are open will be displayed. That's why we have to open the workbooks that we want to be compared. Select the file. Check if the order of files is in Compare and To is okay. Are they okay? So here we're going to compare this to this one. So if not, you swap the files. If the order is not okay, click Swap Files, and the order of files in Compare and To gets changed. So this will swap the two files. Then we can now click on Compare. The result of the comparison appears in a two-pane grid. The workbook on the left corresponds to the Compare file you have chosen, and the workbook on the right corresponds to the To file you have chosen. So there are two panes here. This is the Compare and this is the Workbook 2. Details of changes in Workbook 2 as compared to Workbook Compare appear in a pane below these two grids. So we have here the two grids, and then we have here the pane below. The changes are highlighted by color. So these are the legends and the details of the changes. So it is highlighted by color. So the changes are highlighted by color depending on the kind of change. The legend for the highlight colors appears in the lower left pane. So this is where we see the lower left, the legends. Click resize cells to fit in the ribbon, on the ribbon, to view the cells contents in the compare and to workbooks. So we have here resize cells to fit. The cells in both the workbooks are resized so that the contents are visible. Click the export results in the export group on the ribbon. And the Save As dialog box appears. You can save the results to an Excel workbook. Note that only that XLSX file type is available. If you need the results in another application, you can do it by copying it to clipboard. So click copy results to clipboard in the export group on the ribbon. Paste in an application you want. Creating an interactive report. You can use the Workbook Analysis command to create an interactive report that can show detailed information about the workbook and its structure, formulas, cell ranges, cells, ranges, and warnings. Click the Inquire tab on the ribbon and click on Workbook Analysis in the report group. So this is the report group. And click on Workbook Analysis. The report will be displayed after the Workbook Analysis is completed. So we have the Workbook Analysis report. The report has the following 6 categories. We have summary. This is the general information about the structure and content of the workbook. Workbook with subcategories. So this is general workbook statistics. Formulas with subcategories, specific information about formula in the workbook. Cells with subcategories, so these are cells. So we can see here the plus, that means we have subcategories. So specific information about cells in the workbook. Ranges, so also with subcategories, specific information about the ranges in the workbook. Warnings, so several types of warnings about workbook structure and content. Selecting a category gives you more information about that category. So click the formulas option, for example. The subcategories of formulas will be displayed. You will observe the following in the workbook that you are analyzing. All formulas are 224 in number. So all formulas. Click subcategories with numeric values. In the results pane, for each cell with formula with numeric values, worksheet name, cell address, and formulas are displayed. So these are the formulas. Click the Excel export button. So here's the Excel export button. And the Save As dialog box appears. So this is the Save As dialog box appears. Then of course we can save the result. Creating an interactive report. So save the report as an Excel file. Load the export file button. So we have load export file button appears next to Excel export button. Click on the load export file button. So click on this. The Save Report Excel workbook opens and you can clearly view the workbook analysis result. This is the workbook analysis report. Viewing with diagrams. You can view workbook relationships, worksheet relationship, and cell relationships with interactive diagrams created by links. The links below, the links show the dependencies between the nodes in the diagram. You can drag the links or nodes to arrange them and align them to view whatever you are looking for. Viewing the workbook relationships, you can have an interactive graphical map of workbook dependencies created by connections or links between files using workbook relationship diagram. The type of links in the diagram can include other workbooks, Access database, text files, HTML pages, SQL Server databases, and other data sources. Click the Inquire tab on the ribbon. So we have the Inquire tab, and click Workbook Relationship in the diagram group. The workbook relationship diagram appears, showing links of the workbook with different data sources. So this is the workbook. So the source. So we have link workbook and link workbook connection to access the database. You can use worksheet relationship diagram, this one, to create an interactive graphical map of connection links between worksheets in the same workbook and or worksheets in other workbooks. Click the Inquire tab ribbon. Click on the worksheet relationship in the diagram group. Then the worksheet relationship diagram appears, showing links between the worksheets in the same workbook and in the other workbooks. So the difference between these two can be identified by the direction of the arrows. So this is a source, worksheet. So here, so link worksheet in the same workbook and link worksheet from a different workbook. That's why the arrow is towards this cell. Viewing cell relationships. You can use the cell relationships diagram to get a detailed interactive map of all links from a selected cell to cells in other worksheet or even other workbooks. So click the Inquire tab on the ribbon and then click on Cell Relationship. The Cell Relationship Diagram option dialog box appears. Check Span Sheets and Span Workbooks. Span Sheet and Expand Workbooks. Select Trace Both. So not only precedents or dependents, so we trace both. That means both precedents and dependents. Under initial number of expansion levels, select limited and type 5 in the box next to it and click OK. So the cell relationship diagram appears, showing links between the cells, the selected cells, and the cells in the same worksheet, same workbook, and in other workbooks based on the options you have chosen. So you can click on zoom, of course, to view the details clearer. So click zoom, you can view the nodes clearly. So these are the nodes. And cleaning excess cell formatting. So we go to the next topic. When you find that a workbook is getting loaded slowly or has become huge in size, it might have formatting applied to rows and or columns that is not needed. For example, conditional formatting an entire column that has less than 15 values. You can use the clean excess cell formatting command to remove excess formatting and greatly reduce the file size. This also results in improving Excel's speed. Before cleaning the excess cell formatting, create a backup copy of your Excel file because there are certain cases where this process may increase your file size and there is no way to undo the change. Click the Inquire tab on the ribbon. Click Clean Excess Cell Formatting in the Miscellaneous group. The Clean Excess Cell Formatting dialog box appears. So this is the dialog box. Choose All Sheets in the Apply box. You will get a message about saving changes. Click OK. So clean the excess cell formatting out of the workbook. So would you like to save changes to the clean sheets? So we just click OK or yes. Now let's go to managing password of files. If you are using Workbook Analysis or Compare Files commands for workbooks that are password protected, you can avoid having to type the password each time those files are open. This is possible with using Password Manager. Click the Inquire tab on the ribbon and click Workbook Passwords in the Miscellaneous group. So, Workbook Password. The Password Manager dialog box appears. Click the Add button. So, Add button to add passwords to your workbook. Add passwords description also for the password you added. So, password description. Next time you need to use any of these files for comparing or analysis, you do not have to key in the passwords. So that ends the Inquire feature of Microsoft Excel. So thank you very much for viewing this video.